Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel where it empowers self-love energy. I'm Monica Bermudez. I am an intuitive self-love energy healer and a light language channeler. In this message, I want to talk about the illusion of the love bubble in a relationship and talk a little bit about love itself and the illusions that get formed around that. And what that means is, illusions of being this false expectation or falling into this fantasy trap. And as humans, we have a tendency to do that when we still carry so many wounds and traumas in our being, and some of them are unconscious and they're not aware. So it's another ways of saying the subconscious level is not seeing that they're there. They're so hidden that it's almost becomes a block. And it's not to say that it's just, in this lifetime, but it comes from also previous lifetimes that we may be carrying some of these old, sabotaging type patterns in our being, in our cells, in every aspect of us. And they're just meant to be healed and loved and embraced. So just know that they're there to teach us as well, so that we can grow and expand and learn from each other in relationships and everybody else. And most of all, to learn from being your own relationship and your own love. So bringing you back to your own source connection. So oftentimes, these traumas and these heartaches and pains that occur, from heartbreaks, for whether it's this lifetime or past lifetimes, they do form some form of attachment to them. And sometimes they have, insecurities in there, which ties in with the lack of self-worth and the lack, it all interconnects with the self-image of how you see yourself and perceive yourself. And all of this, of course, is also based on experience and how you grew up in your own environment, and as well as, some of these other hidden patterns that are there holding you back or blocking you from connecting with your own heart. So when we get so attached on certain false illusions or false perceptions or fantasize about somebody, we have a tendency, for one, to find that we get love confused with these certain attachments and certain expectations. So the kind of love that I'm talking about is at the human level type love that is based on limiting beliefs and based on old patterns and behaviors, based on certain life experience and perceptions, and also how we viewed relationships in others. And that usually starts with our parents, or the ones who raised us as children. We grew up with them seeing how love is as well. And so if you come from a household that may have an abusive environment, where you may have seen your mother and father fighting constantly, part of that also gets buried subconsciously in us. And so then you start to form this belief or this, concept of another one having to save us from our own traumas and our own faults. And that can lead to this false type love and form some type of ego and insecurities as well. So then you get, attached to some of these things, and we grew up with that. So, one of the things about it being with the false illusion or the fantasy of love is that the other one is paying attention. And so because he or she is paying attention to you or, yourself, then that itself is comforting, because you have somebody else paying attention. And so then that leads down this path of, well, now that somebody's paying attention to me, that has to be love. And so in most cases, that's where you have to really pay attention to that, right? Because, attention really it starts from us, from within yourself, your own foundation. And so you build that foundation inside of you, so you're not dependent on someone else giving you the attention that you think you need. And it is something that you need, because that need is sparking from inside of you. And so the second thing that forms attachments is being led down this path of somebody else is going to save you from your own traumas and your own insecurities by having their own love. So it's the dependency of the other person's love to love all the aspects of your own trauma, and that's okay, that you don't have to deal with it so much. And so it turns into this whole savior thing about Prince Charming or Princess Charming. And part of that too, it's also with some of the movies that we grew up with, or we grew up with certain romantic movies that teach us or show us that if you have all this trauma and all this pain, somebody will come and rescue you. But truthfully, the one who will rescue you is you yourself, and that's where it all starts. And so this all forms a part of this bubble of illusion, where we get led down this path of thinking that the other is going to save us from this pain. And so we have a tendency to confuse that with love as well, and say that we fall in love with the other person because they're our savior. They're saving us from our own shadow and our own dark side and all this trauma and pain that's been carried for some time, and they're there to heal us. Well, in some ways, in all relationships, we're learning from each other. That is true. But what happens is that when we go down this path, when that person leaves us in our life, and then what? You're left with this broken heart and this such emotional pain that it leads down this this path of depression and grief. And so I share these messages in preparation for helping you to gently look at your bubble and start to really tear down any illusions that you may have formed around you, and look at them with love, of course. So the next one that really forms an attachment and gets confused with what we think is love for the other person is when we form this infatuation with the other. And so we often confuse infatuation with love, because infatuation is just being a little over obsessive and being attracted to the other because of something that they may have, or something that they are, or the way they may look, or because they come from a certain background and heritage. And so then we form this whole attachment with that love around that, and it gets intertwined and intermingled, and so that forms a bit of a bubble of this love illusion as well. So when we get led down these certain paths of attachments, of these illusions, that is setting us up for this big heartbreak and heart emotional pain. And so what's important is, first of all, if you've gotten out of broken up of a relationship recently, you definitely want to take a break, the break that is right for you, and not necessarily jump right into another relationship right away. because it will just keep leading to more and more of the same type patterns as before. You'll keep getting what I call the reincarnated partner. So reincarnated meaning that they'll just have a different body, a different name, but the traits and the same patterns will be similar to the one before. So it's best that when you are in that break, that you take that time to yourself and really assess everything about all your past relationships and learn from them and look at them with love and heal from it as much as you can. And digging into like every single one of your single patterns and taking note of each one. And finding a way to transmute them to be in this higher vibration that will connect you more into your own higher self and source connection of love. So when I do speak of love, the type of love that I'm talking about is the one that is infinite love, that is already your soul essence, your soul core connection of who you are. And the Sacred Heart, the word that I use often is Sacred Heart, is a part of this soul core essence of who you are. It is a portal access point of this infinite love that is unlimited, expansive, regenerative, it's joyful, and it is pure. And so that itself also gives you the balance in life to be able to live as a human. Because being here on earth is to live in a world of duality and polarity. But it is your own heart essence of your own heart center that keeps you balanced. So you don't fall too far into the right or too far into the left, or too far into the light or too far into the shadow, but keeping you balanced to be able to function here physically in human form on earth and do the things you come to do here, your own divine mission, your soul purpose, because you have so much to give, so much to learn, and from those lessons to be able to teach others as well. And you do deserve to be in a loving relationship, and a healthy one. The one that helps you expand and grow spiritually. The one that nourishes you. But I emphasize that relationship starts and flourishes from within you, within each and every one of us. That is where the foundation and the roots get built and strengthened, because love only brings in more strength and power and courage. But it is the courage that is with love. It is the strength that is with love. And it is a balance that is with love. So any trauma or heartbreaks you may have had, pay attention to them. They are also your clues of where it's leading you as well. So they do serve their purpose. So not saying that they're all bad or good, but rather looking at it from a higher self perspective, in a space of neutrality, and what it is that it's teaching you. And when I say you, I'm also including myself as well. And I have experienced this myself in my own personal experience, that I learned so much about my own heart center, my own sacred heart, after I went through my divorce and evaluated every single one of my past romantic relationships. So I share this message with the hopes that it will also provide you the guidance and the love that you need on the path that you're on at the moment. So we are at the last day of January, and this is January 30 of 2021, and it also is the start of Mercury retrograde. So this is a perfect time to really go inside and really reevaluate every one of your past romantic relationships, and even the current ones that you may find yourself in at the moment, including yourself, and asking yourself the very important questions, letting your soul speak through you, through your own physical self of expression. So the message, though, that my guides have been providing a lot this week is the joy vibration, being at the frequency of joy. So bring in more of the joy vibration to assist you with this gentle bursting of the illusion bubble, of any type of illusion or fantasy that we may be going down this path with someone and thinking that, this is the love. So take a step back first, really ask yourself the hard question of the relationship before going down a path of a false illusion or fantasizing about something that would just lead to another heartbreak. And so really just take the time to yourself and use the energies for this way of helping you to uplift you. Take advantage of the energies that we have at present with the astrological energies at work, like Mercury retrograde being in retrograde. So Mercury, has everything to do with communication. When it goes retrograde, that is a communication that is inward, inside of us, our own communication with ourself, being honest with ourself, and speaking our own truth inside with courage and with love, and without over criticizing yourself or putting yourself down in any way, but looking at it with a gentle compassion and love. So if you really are struggling with it, I would love to hear your comments below and let me know how you're doing and how this was for you. And so I am looking forward to seeing you in the next Love Wisdom video. So please subscribe to my channel, as I'll be sharing some more messages around this, as well as other guided meditations too. I look forward to connecting with you very soon, sending you so much love and blessings to you. Take care.